Why shouldn't Tactical get the Power Axe? I feel the community is very divided on this topic. I would love Tactical to get the Power Axe, but I've seen a bunch of people on here arguing against it. I want to see why some of you believe this and discuss it. As far as not adding the Power Axe to the Tactical, I do think Tactical already has a lot to work with. It would be kind of interesting to see what the Tactical could do with the Power Axe, but I imagine, honestly, it would be pretty strong considering battle focus. To me, the Tactical is a primary weapons expert. If he just gets all of the melee weapons also, I do think his class identity starts to get a little bit hazy. I do think it would be kind of cool though if, the Tactical was able to use the Power Axe, but obviously it's just not the most requested feature. I think even some people wanted to see the Power Sword on Tactical, and honestly, I just think it fits better on the Assault class. You know who needs a melee update? I think the Assault class should get the combat knife, which also might be just as weird, to be honest. Slamming down with the combat knife is probably not going to be very satisfying. However, you got to consider the heroic combat knife would be pretty good with the Assault class, wouldn't it? I would love to see that. Yeah, honestly, between the Tactical getting the Power Axe and the Assault getting the combat knife, I would rather see the Assault get the combat knife, even though functionally it might feel a little bit weird. I mean, dude, honestly, the Tactical has the combat knife, and I don't really use it that often. I did like the combat knife, but then they made fencing really fast, and now I just use the fencing chainsword with Tactical. I also used the heroic chainsword with Tactical as well, which is also really good. So yeah, I guess when it comes to giving Tactical some melee weapons, it is pretty funny that the community's divided on it. Normally people are just like, yeah, why not? You know what I mean? Just give the Tactical a Power Axe. But I am also curious on why the community doesn't want to see the Power Axe with the Tactical as well. But yeah, I understand class identity. If the Tactical just had all of the melee weapons, I feel like Tactical would feel like the favorite class in a sense. He would just have everything. But honestly though, Tactical is like the one class, not the one class, there's another class that doesn't have healing. But yeah, you gotta consider, Tactical does not have any healing. A lot of the synergy around Tactical is through pure range damage, and not to mention just setting up gun strikes is also really good with Tactical because you can do heightened vigor whenever you do a perfect parry. You can get extra damage on your gun strike and melee. So honestly, that's one of my favorite perks. So yeah, I mean, when it comes to Tactical, I think he already has so much going on for him. If you gave him the Power Axe, it might just be a little bit too much. He could become like one of the best melee classes with the Power Axe, maybe. I don't know if I'd go that far. Let me know in the comments how you guys feel about this one, because yeah, I'm also a little bit on both sides here. Like, I understand how the Power Axe on the Tactical could make the Tactical feel like he has too much going on, but I also understand Tactical with the Power Axe would also be pretty fun, So yeah, let's see how the people feel about this one. All specs on parry perk plus the Power Axe strong parry counter moves would be overpowered. Alright, that seems to be a fairly common sentiment here. I do think that's pretty interesting, like, definitely. I still would like to see it. I'm not too sure. As a Tactical enjoyer myself, I am definitely getting a little bit uncomfortable with how many people are throwing the word overpowered around him. But at least in this case, this is obviously circumstantial. This isn't real. We are not giving the Power Axe to the Tactical. However, theoretically, he could be overpowered, and in theory, I tend to agree. But yeah, I just don't think right now the Tactical is overpowered. I think he's fine. He's definitely pretty strong in stratagems, but sometimes certain stratagems can just make him go a lot crazier, essentially. Like For the Emperor, when you just use For the Emperor, you just get a damage buff. That's very good. Combat Mastery, also very good with Tactical. So yeah, sometimes in stratagems, he can get a little bit of a extra damage buff, and it can make him feel a little bit too strong sometimes, but that's just stratagems. That's stratagems. That's the nature of it. Sometimes things are broken one way or the other. I still honestly wouldn't go that far to say anything the Tactical is using is broken or overpowered. That's the correct take, in my opinion. Contrary to what other posters said, Tactical can be built as a melee beast. There's nothing quite like stomping with the block chainsword, multiple all-specs marked targets, and to apply Tactical's strongest perk, all-specs on block parry, you have to be in melee. A melee tack is the way to maximize it, and granting a huge DPS boost to the squad. I do think the battle focus perk, where if you parry or block, they get scanned, I think that's really good with shoulder bash, dude. It is insanely powerful with shoulder bash. I still think it's fair. It's fair enough. But yeah, shoulder bash is the key to battle focus. I genuinely don't know if I could see myself replacing the chainsword just because I've gotten really used to it. The power axe I'm still kind of learning, but yeah, the chainsword is just so easy to use. With battle focus, it's so insane. Furthermore, the Tactical has access to many close range weapons: Melta, Flamer, Plasma. Plasmas are close range? I guess they could be considered close range. Honestly, if they have a fast projectile speed, they could be considered all ranged weaponry, I guess. That further supports the gameplay. So yes, not giving the power axe to Tactical is intentional, not because it's a bad melee class, but because it would grant it a buff it doesn't need. Interesting. Look, when it comes to Tactical being overpowered, I don't know how convinced I am that the power axe would be the thing to break Tactical. I do think, if I was to guess, I would agree, but I'm still just not 100% convinced that Tactical is somehow going to be overpowered with the power axe. I mean, obviously they're making strong points for it, but I would still like to see more. Power Axe's specialty with melee is unique parry counter, which makes it ideal for constant close melee combat to find as many parry opportunities as possible, which doesn't align Tactical's ranged favored playstyle and build fantasy. It just doesn't make sense. It would be cool, but it just doesn't fit. Notice the Power Axe was given to all of the melee focused classes. This isn't unintentional. I mean, yeah, I know for a fact, yeah, if the devs wanted to give the power axe to Tactical, they definitely would have. I mean, still though, you have to admit the Melta is definitely Tactical's best close ranged weapon, and it's definitely a top tier weapon for Tactical because of the nature of that weapon. That weapon is very powerful. However, I guess it does make sense. I mean, look, the Tactical can regenerate ammo with the Melta. In what situation would the power axe feel more appealing than that? I definitely think that makes sense, 100%. Now, I don't think this is a dig at the Tactical or the assault class or whatever. But yeah, I would love to see the combat knife on the assault class. And if this was the case, as far as this is why they gave the power axe to melee focused classes, then where does the combat knife fit in this situation? You know what I mean? Like, the combat knife is also on sniper. You do not see the combat knife on bulwark. You do not see the combat knife on, the assault class. Honestly, why not? Just give the assault class the combat knife so we can use Power Gladius with the assault class. That would be great. But yeah, I mean, for Tactical though, with the combat knife, if the combat knife isn't overpowered with Tactical, then I'm not 100% convinced that the power axe would be overpowered. It would definitely be pretty strong though. Battle focus is really good, and yeah, that parry combo with the power axe is definitely really good. So, do you really think it would be stronger than the shoulder bash though? It is what it is though. When it comes to class identity, I do think it really focuses on the weapons before the cosmetics. So yeah, if the Tactical ends up getting a cape, that's fine. If the Tactical ends up getting power axe, maybe that's a step too far. I know that lore-wise, Tactical should get access to nearly every weapon. On the other hand, I think Tactical already has so many primary weapons he can choose from that I think it would be slightly unfair if he also got more melee weapons. Okay, so I don't know if you guys remember a post we talked about a few days ago, maybe a week ago, but they basically pointed out that Bulwark gets everything in the game, technically. They said he had like 2 skills, the banner and the shield, and he also gets hammer, where the assault class, they didn't rework his jetpack dodges as the Bulwark had a reworked shield bash. So basically their argument was Bulwark was getting everything. However, they don't. The Bulwark doesn't have everything. They're definitely a really good class. I would admit, if Tactical did get the Power Axe and the Power Sword, he would literally almost have everything in the game. So that would definitely feel a little bit unbalanced, maybe. I still don't know if the Tactical would be able to get use out of, if they did get the Power Axe and also the Power Sword. I'm not too sure how much use they would get out of one or the other. I think the Power Axe would probably be on a lot of Tactical's builds, for sure. The Power Sword, maybe not as much. But yeah, I mean, could you imagine giving Tactical the hammer also? Like, come on. But I will admit, seeing the Power Axe on a Tactical does sound pretty interesting. But yeah, I do agree. We're going to get a lot of posts talking about, man, why did the Tactical get everything in the game? The devs like him more than the Assault class. Why is the Tactical a better melee class than the Assault class? Which, honestly, that's pretty funny, but also kind of horrifying to think about. And then there is Battle Focus, a single perk that lets him deal melee damage on par or above melee classes, while also being able to deal huge range damage. If Battle Focus would be removed or reworked, it would be okay, I think. Interesting, not worth it. Okay, so if that is the circumstance, if Tactical was to get the Power Axe, but they would remove Battle Focus, that's not worth it. That's not worth it. Nah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. You can keep the Power Axe. I want Battle Focus on Tactical. Not even for melee all the time either. Sometimes I like Battle Focus for like a parry and then go for like Marked for Death. That's very satisfying. Also very satisfying when you do it on an extremist, like a Lictor or something. Like you parry the Lictor, he gets scanned, and then you one-shot him with Marked for Death. Feels so good. So good. But okay, this is a pretty interesting discussion. I saw this one, and I thought to myself, man, I would love to see the combat knife on the Assault class. But then, obviously, it started to dawn on me that some people were saying the Power Axe would be overpowered on Tactical, and I really just kind of wanted to jump into this conversation just to point out, hey, Tactical's in a good spot, guys. Can we not can we not throw around the term overpowered, especially with a theoretical weapon that he doesn't have, you know what I mean? So, yeah, if this was the case, if Tactical got the Power Axe, but they had to remove Battle Focus, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. But yeah, let me know in the comments how you guys feel about this one. Yeah, when it comes to adding weapons to other classes, I feel like there's really not that many choices at the moment. So this may be the one topic that people seemingly can't agree with. However, it does feel like the one topic that is the final what if the Tactical got this weapon, you know? I'm not too sure what other weapons I would want on other classes, but Power Axe, Power Sword on Tactical has been one of the most requested changes since launch, to be honest. But yeah, honestly, I think Tactical's doing just fine with their chain swords at the moment. Power Gladius, Combat Knife, maybe give it to the Assault class just for fun. That would be cool. I don't see anyone talk about that one. But yeah, let me know in the comments how you guys feel about this, and thanks for watching.